Hey, this is Life, Tech, and Sundry. Join Alan, Marcos, and Josue, the hosts of LTS. Follow us at LT Sundry on Twitter, LTS.pod on Instagram, Life, Tech, and Sundry on YouTube, and all your favorite podcast distribution services. Stay frosty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this installment of the LTS podcast. My name is Marcos, and with me tonight in this recording is Alan. Say hello. Say hello to the people, Alan.
What's going on, everyone? I'm back. Thank you so much, Mr. Marcos, for inviting me back for this conversation. Can't wait.
Over here, Alan, looking so smooth, and I like the sound of his voice right now. It sounds silky smooth. Don't forget, everyone to stay hydrated. I brought my drink tonight. I'm trying to stay hydrated.
And cheers, sir. Cheers.
But yeah, right now, what was I thinking? I was talking with with Alan over here about movies that triggered my memory of a younger time, if you will. And but yeah, just it's just funny. For example, we were talking about Miss Doubtfire, and how I feel like even though it whatever political leaning it tried to stay on, the story of the dad literally trying to hide his identity and try to stay with his children really caught my attention. It was funny, a comedy, but the entire source of the movie that I took away was that parents in that situation, even though they're trying to continue on with after a divorce, some of the times that would be considered as healthy or unhealthy, Alan, in your opinion? That Robin, for listeners out there, the movie Miss Doubtfire is Mr. Robin Williams, the father in this case of the children, was literally willing and able to bamboozle, camouflage himself into an old lady called Miss Doubtfire, who would babysit his children and spend more time with them. Like there's scenes of him in the park with his children, cooking for his children, shenanigans, because comedy scenes of him not being able to cook and being able to cook, watching videos, reading recipe books, shenanigans of him trying to hang around with his family, his children. And the children never find out, I think, not even the wife, and Robin Williams running defense so that the wife doesn't get with his potential date. I think there's only one date in the entire movie that the wife is trying to get into a relationship with, and the ex-husband trying to do shenanigans to not let them get together. Just as a kid, when I witnessed this movie, really caught my attention, and it brings fond memories. But now as an adult, is that a healthy thing? Now that's my question to you, Alan. Do you think that's a healthy thing?
What part of that are you asking is healthy?
What he was willing, the lengths that he was willing to go to stay with his children. Would that be considered unhealthy or mentally or possessive?
No, I think that's pretty spot on. What a dad would probably want to do, be there for the family, right?
Even if you have to camouflage yourself.
Well, that I think that's the Hollywood aspect of it, right? Because I don't think anyone has the resources to try to dress up to that point, right?
Or the money,
right, to do that. So the reason why I say this is because I don't know if you know this recent story. Well, I don't know how recent it is, but I sent you a video, you and Mr. J, on the group chat a while back, and basically it's about a father kind of breaking down the misinformation that his daughter was spreading about him being a deadbeat dad. And what was interesting is that he became kind of viral popular because his daughter on TikTok was kind of making him look bad, and it wasn't until his response that things got corrected. And when I say corrected, I mean homie went through bit by bit with receipts in hand, talking about how his daughter was basically, no, that's not correct. I did not leave you. Your mom is the one that wished to not be together because the lifestyle that she wanted wasn't the one I wanted, even though we were making good money.
Oh, so money was never the problem.
No, money was not the problem. It was the way the lifestyle that the wife, or the ex-wife in this case, wanted, that basically pushed the relationship to that point where she wanted a divorce. And he was like, well, I want to be, in my kid's life, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it was that he agreed to pay her, or sell off all their assets and basically pay her an enormous amount of money, to the point where when he went to court and was found guilty of not being able to pay, I think it was like $1,000 or so, he had already given, about a couple of, like, maybe it was $1 million, if I'm not mistaken, or more than $1 million. And it was like, when he went to jail because of this action, they were kind of asking him, was like, wait, why would you ever agree to giving this person or your ex-wife $1 million? It's like, it makes no sense at all. And I thought it was a really interesting story, because I never would have thought that there'd be people out there that would be that, I don't know. In this case, it was this mother, or the ex-wife, right, that got to a point where she thought it was a good idea because because the person didn't want to live that lifestyle, even though they made enough money for it, that she thought it was a good idea to divorce this person, and not only divorce her ex-husband, but talk all this craziness about him. And then to the point
Slander.
to the point where it made her children, or she put that idea in her children's heads that, and not all of them reacted the same way, obviously, because some were older than others and kind of knew what the hell was going on. But the daughter that's I guess a TikTok influencer, famous, was the one basically saying how much how bad the dad was, XYZ, and this and this and that. And it's like, when you see the video of him explaining the whole, the details behind what was really going on, it just kind of goes to show you how crazy the slander was, and to the point where she really thought it was true, or bits and pieces of it at least were true. And again, I just thought it was an amazing, like, I wouldn't say it's like a coming of age type of tale, but it was a very inspirational tale, almost like, wow, like, my man should make this into a screenplay and like a script, and definitely make this into a movie, because the way he goes about breaking down what happened, like his side of the story, it's like you feel for the guy, because it's like, dang, you did a lot. You went above and beyond to be part of your kids' lives, and for
Miss
the mother. Yeah, exactly. Going back to the initial question, right? For this person, your ex-wife now, to go on about trying to separate you from your kids, and not having, or trying to not have them be part of each other's lives, that's really crazy. Like, I've never really dealt that in my life, so I wouldn't know how to, like, kind of like understand it in a sense of like either my parents trying to put me against the other. So but again, listening to this man's story was kind of like, wow, he really like figured out or found out or worked his ass off to figure out how he could be with his family, with his kids in this case. So and again, going back to this Mrs. Delphire, like, I think that aspect of, a father, wanting to be with, being part of the lives, the kids' lives, and being or participating in their lives as much as he could, regardless of how the mother felt, because she's the one pushing away. But she wants all the benefits of a relationship, or the money aspect in this case, without having the husband. It's like it's kind of, that's pretty dumb. It's pretty awful. And yeah, I thought, again, it's a good comparison. But again, that Hollywood aspect of it, where it's like, okay, you going above and beyond, dressing or cross-dressing as a old grandma. Again,
James Bond wishes he was that good.
Right. So
Or Mission Impossible.
Right. So this is that piece of the puzzle where it's like, that's Hollywood, obviously.
Yes.
And it makes for a great movie, but it doesn't really make for a great option as far as like you actually living that type of life, where it's like the story of this gentleman, it's a lot more feasible, and it actually really happened. And let me actually send you the video, because I think I have it here. Let me just share it in the group chat. And
Of what?
and it's the video that I was telling you about this gentleman, right? Basically, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a commentary about said video. And I don't remember the dude's name, but I do remember what's it called? Let's see if I can find
See,
a little bit more information.
I can open. Yeah, while you give that, I open it in a copy.
Yes.
Copy. Control C. Yeah, this is YouTube, okay.
Yeah, this is YouTube. So I don't remember the gentleman's name.
Mhm.
I think the daughter's name is Maddie, if I'm not mistaken. And I forgot the gentleman's name. But he basically explains right from start to finish in his video. And if I can get the original video, because this is a commentary, right? So he's reacting to the original video. But let me see if I can. Okay, I got it. All right. So the person's name is Ben Hart. So that's the person's name. And let me actually share the original video.
Is it on your phone or on the computer?
It's I sent it to the group chat on my cell phone.
Okay.
Or on the cell phone. Right. So the original video is in the description. Hopefully it'll be there when you guys are looking through the notes. So yeah, the gentleman's name is Ben Hart, and he goes through the whole story. It's a hour 35-minute video.
It's a documentary, if anything.
Yeah, no, it's great. I highly recommend you watch it. I think it's super entertaining in the sense of like the way he has with words of telling or piecing together the story and explaining his side of the story, and how he was put in the situation he was put in. And honestly, this is like the biggest. I have receipts. Look at me.
Let me put that.
Yes.
I have receipts. That's for me,
Yeah, no problem.
I can put it later. It'll be in the notes, dear listeners. But yeah, so what were you saying? So, if you want to watch the full documentary, basically.
Yeah, so if you do see it, obviously I highly recommend you do. Again, just broaching the parallels between the movie to real life. I think that aspect of wanting to be a participant to your kids' life, that is very important. And I think any father worth his salt is going to want to be is going to want to be a part of their lives.
Yes.
And be productive and helpful. Where the aspect of the movie aspect of it, where it's like cross-dressing and stuff like that, again, that's very good for a story on a movie. I don't think it's practical in real life. But
good for the silver screen, not for the streets.
Yeah, but again, that's my take on it. What about you?
No, again, I like the memories it created, the laughter and all those things, but the seriousness of how he's trying to overcome himself, obviously with a little bit of his Robin Williams style of trying to have himself a good time with his family. The sauce, the root, the actual thing nowadays that I take that away versus the laughter that I have in those times. And don't get me wrong, there's even some political comments I feel like nowadays that I can take away from it, but as a kid it just went over my head. So the root of a parent trying to do, even if it's not end of life, but trying to give their children the best life as with his presence in one way or another. And I don't know nowadays if that could be seen, observed in a psychological way as possessive, a not healthy way of coping. I don't know. There's probably some psychological terms that I'm not an expert in. So these are just off the dome head thoughts that I had throughout the week, and I wanted to pick Alan's brain with no prompting, by the way. We were just talking about other stuff, and that came in like secondary or like third on the list of importance. But now on the podcast, you can hear me process what I was talking with Alan before processing, like going deeper in that level of the movie, and talking about like Robin Williams' legacy of how good of an actor and his team that was there to help him. He was picked to make many of these movies for a lot of those reasons of him being a good actor in what best fit him.
Right.
And now, what about you, Alan? Like, what else have you been thinking throughout the week?
To be honest, just try to make this money, bro. And just keep him busy, because, bro, I don't know, whether it be politics or the fact that what you could buy at the grocery store is a lot less compared to like just 2, 3, 5 years ago. It's bananas. Price of gas also isn't looking too good. So everything's going up, but the paycheck isn't. So trying to keep busy and making more cash is important. But at the same time, also learning how to maybe how can I put it? Just try to think about what's a need and what's a want, right? Yes. I know what a need is, and making the distinction between a need and a want, right?
Yes.
I might want something, but it doesn't mean I need it, right? So maybe I don't need, what's a good example? Maybe I don't need more. Here's a good example: more candy, right?
I want it. Why? I have a sweet tooth. Why would you hit me with that?
Right.
I like food in general, and candy falls with like a category of the food in my.
Yes, but food is good. You need food. You might not need candy. It's a good want, but it's not a necessity, So that's the category I put it in. And that's the reason why, those are the type of tough questions I have to ask myself when I'm out and about at the store or whatnot.
On the streets.
Yes. And as far as like other things, trying to let these anime episodes stack as well. So that's another thing that's going on. So I've been rewatching a couple of things.
Rewatching is the name of the game, though. That's how you.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Right now, like, because I do want to watch Mushoku Tensei, right? I do want to watch that time I got reincarnated as a slime, right? Tensura.
Content creators, that are doing some potential projects that we can intersect and do some stuff, that you share.
Right. Yeah, dude. I've just rewatched the video I sent you guys about Chibi reviews with what's that video game that one of the
not Baldur's Gate.
No. Something about something blade or something or other. Lightning blade.
Something
I forgot.
like that, yeah.
Well, the point is, like, I'm like looking at a couple of YouTube videos that have been interesting me for a while. Like, I've been going through, and I think I shared it with both you and Josue, where it's like, what's it called? It's talking a lot about finances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've been
Mr.
going
J
through
brought it up and like,
emotion-
oh, let me instruct you. That's what I remember, how it felt. It triggered like we were on the phone. and
Oh
you just
yeah. Well, precisely like during the week, it's like I'm looking at all this, and then when he mentioned it, I'm like, oh dang, yeah.
Is the Matrix listening?
Yeah, no, more than that, I just want to think that the things that I mentioned before about the price of everything going up, and and us understanding how we can get be on top of our finances is really important. And there's a lot of things that maybe they don't teach us at school, which we should be learning, but now being in the real world as an adult, now we have to kind of figure it out. And we're building the plane as we fly it, so it gets
If
a little
that's
difficult.
not an analogy of an adult, I don't know what is now. That is the analogy of an adult. Build the plane as you're flying it.
Yeah, dude. So that's where I'm at right now. So when Mr. J mentioned it, I thought to myself, yeah, no, I remember watching a few videos explaining it, and of course, this is where me mentioning the credit cards. This is where I tied in,
Passive
U.S.
income.
right, passive income, but U.S. Economics, where it's like where are we compared to everyone else, right, in the world, and then how we could game the system using credit cards, right? Why is it important to have a good credit score and stuff like that? What the exchange rate between dollars and pesos are, or dollars and yen are, which is very interesting as well at the moment, right? And because we living in the United States hold the world reserve currency being the dollar, it just makes it a lot more interesting in the sense of like how we're positioned, even though we're feeling it economically speaking, because inflation is pretty terrible at the moment, and as far as we know, the Fed is holding or keeping the interest rate at 5% at the
They're
moment.
always holding, yes.
Well, no, not always. Right now they're holding, and a lot of people speculated that by this time, or by this month, they would have lowered it, but that's not what they're doing. And there's a greater chance of them raising it even more. And if we're hurting, you best believe a lot of people around the world are hurting, and more than us. And then again, this is going back to even an earlier type of line of thinking that I had shared with you guys beforehand from Brent Johnson, who is the creator of the theory of the milkshake theory, which is very interesting. I would also highly recommend you guys look at that or watch it. And essentially, he explains how the dollar is gonna basically go up in value compared to all the other currencies around the world, and at some point, the dollar might bust because the dollar is, or the U.S. economy is a debt-based system, and if it does bust, it will bust. But before that happens, or defaults, more likely than not, other currencies around the world will default before the US. And he goes into detail of why that is. I think it's super interesting, and we're watching it happen as we speak, where the US dollar is becoming a lot stronger compared to other currencies in different ways, or in different, especially in different industries. But I mean, I won't go too much into detail because I know we'll get into the weeds with that one. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I started sharing all those videos. Credit card points, how to get your flights and your hotels and stuff like that. There's an actual system and a way that you can use it to your benefit without putting yourself into debt. Same thing with getting a second passport or residence in a different country as a plan B is another thing that I was sharing, which is very important, I think, and our listeners should probably, take that into consideration as far as, as another part of your plan. Definitely watching an accountant named Mark J. Kohler on his strategies and tips of accounting and stuff like that, being that he's a CPA. Again, not financial advice, just I think it's really good for you to brush up on strategies, because sometimes it's like you tipping the government, or you paying extra or more than you're supposed to, or that you have to, instead of keeping more of the money that you make in order for you to do more with it, to benefit yourself and your family and your loved ones. So yeah, that's and sprinkle in there, a little bit of, I guess you can say a little more maybe controversial videos where it's like speaking about like, yes, the giants and Nephilims and stuff like that from ancient history. So that's other things that I've been also watching.
My boy's diverse over here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just, bro, there's so much information.
You're flying the plane. You're building the plane as you're flying it, basically.
That's what it is. That's what's going on.
Oh. Yeah, I want to ask something like in some other countries, like in the US, it's a debt-based system, which is like called a credit line, and credit scores. A lot of people are saying that that's the capitalist equivalent of a social score, like a social credit score. I personally disagree, but I feel like I'm not that well versed at all, if anything, about it, because I feel like a bias towards this side of even if it's credit, it's not perfect, but I still feel a little bit of bias. Do you have any opinions about that, like comparing debt credit score versus social credit score? Do you think there might be any relation, like any equivalencies, or are they just two different separate thoughts of?
Oh yeah, those are two different things. Yeah, those are two. Yeah, they're two different things. The credit score thing, as far as like what you mentioned before, that's more of like you said, something that's being implemented in countries like China and stuff, where you basically get qualified or classified as a good citizen or a not very good citizen, based on how you do certain things, right? What you say, who you vote for, if you criticize the government, and then they start taking away your liberties, especially in the economic side of it, where they'll freeze your accounts, or they'll limit you on how much money you can use. Yes. So that's a very dystopian type of thing to do, and it's happening in places like China, right? Where in the US, we're not living that at the moment, and thank God we're not living in that type of situation, where you would hope that we wouldn't ever be in that situation, but maybe at some point the government just might turn that tyrannical and put you in a situation where you have to abide by their rules, or they'll cut you off. It's happened before in other countries like Canada with the truckers. The truckers got a lot of their accounts frozen, and it was because they were speaking out against, I believe, what the government was doing or something or other. And
they were union workers, I think, right?
I think so. And the government just said, you know what? Well, we don't like what you're saying, or we don't like what you're standing for, so we're gonna freeze your accounts. That's crazy. Who would have thunk in 2023 or 2024 that the government had that much say over you, being that we live in a sovereign country, and we the people is on the Constitution, right?
That was
It's
the
not-
Canadian people that froze him, or the American?
No. This is a Canadian situation, but again, those are our neighbors to the north, and if it's happening there,
Do they have we the people though? That's the question.
well, I'm not sure about their constitution, but it's roughly very similar to what we have in our country. I'm not going to say it's a 1-to-1, but to think that in a Western country in 2023, 2024, you have the government freezing your account.
It's like us
That's bananas.
doing something in messing with somebody that's protesting in Puerto Rico,
Well,
if you will.
Well, the I guess the equivalent here is
Isn't
you know,
Canada
the-
like a colony technically, or is not?
no, I think I think it's a sovereign country.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a sovereign country. I think it used to be owned by France. That's why they speak French.
Yes.
But no, it's been a country, its own independent country for like the longest time, bro. I don't know I don't know, or I don't remember the date that happened, but it's been a while.
Okay.
The point is that I think the equivalent of that happening to us was this whole situation with free speech online on social media. All the tech giants were, banning or shadow banning or straight up deleting your
It's not
account.
free because it's their platform. Basically, that's what they were saying without telling you.
Right. Well, they could say that all they want, but at the same time, it's like they're monetizing off of you. So
It's clickbait, if you will, for them.
right. So at this point in time, we have a person like Elon Musk that bought up Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, now X, and is letting people have a platform where you can say what you need to say, regardless of the outcomes, right, of it. I mean, you're going to have to deal with the outcomes of your speech or your rhetoric, but that's a small price to pay for you to be allowed to say whatever you think or
Have
want.
a platform of where you can say.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, no matter how people look at it, whether they like it or not, it's like, this is the reason why we have that Second Amendment.
Yeah,
know?
but in the country, not on that business, because that business policies
True.
could be different compared to the
True,
country.
but if the owner is saying, no, this is the platform that I bought in order for us to have it because it's necessary, then that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. People want to make it out to be bad because then they're going to be like, oh, well, where's the limit? And it's like, no, there is no limit. There shouldn't be a limit. As long as you're not, inciting violence or threatening people, then you should be good. You could say what you need to say.
Yes.
Unfortunately, people, I guess, misunderstand that aspect of freedom, because a lot of people are I guess in different ways hypocrites, right? Where they'll be like, I can say whatever I want, but you can't because I don't agree with you. And that's very
The big thing
childlike.
is you can face to face, but on a platform, it's whatever their rules are. You can say it. Now it depends if they'll shadow ban you can be angry about it, but it's their rules. Physically, they're not gonna gag you, but then if it hurts them and their bottom dollar, then they're gonna gag you.
Well, I think the
Or they're not
interesting
gonna promote.
Well, the interesting thing about X at the moment is that Elon basically paid the price where other medias didn't want to promote or promote on the platform of X. But he's like, listen, you can try to do that, but I mean, well, you're gonna do it. You're gonna stop doing it until you can't anymore. So it's basically, who is sizing up who in this situation, right? So a lot of people like YouTube, Facebook, and others kind of wanted to follow suit at some point, where they're like, you know what, we should make it a little less stringent on limiting people what they say, because ultimately it kind of blew up in their face when people like Mark Zuckerberg were put in a situation where they had to say, yeah, I was following the rules that the CIA or FBI were telling me what to do, and limiting people's voices or what they had to say. Or
I'm guessing they're getting a good check from doing that as well.
Well, you would think so. Maybe it's just them trying to play ball because they don't want the government to try to, take away their
But if they got
platform.
the money, they could have gone to another country and start their business there. And
Well, that
as
wouldn't
one theory,
work.
on paper. I'm not.
No, but again, that wouldn't work because companies that are social media companies are born and are made here and stay here.
All
The
of
only-
them.
The only
Yeah.
companies, the only thing that leaves that the company or the country is the actual founder. They
Telegram
usually,
was a Russian one, wasn't it?
I believe it was Canadian.
Okay, there you go. Telegram is Canadian, but it was on this side. Facebook. What's the one where you can put the music as a background that you and I were back in the day?
I don't know. You mean
Before
MySpace?
MySpace. There was other different. All of them started here though.
Yeah, no,
WeChat
like I-
technically is in on the east side, or Line. That's also east, like on Asia. But the big ones, right? Or is WeChat and Line bigger than Facebook in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think we off track a little bit. What I was suggesting is that the only thing that leaves the country isn't the company per se. It's more the founders. They usually are the type of people to get a second citizenship or a residency or buy property on an island or something and live far away from the United States in order for them to save on taxes, right? This is the
Yeah.
reason why Jeff Bezos recently moved from California, or I'm sorry, from Seattle, Washington to Florida. This is the reason why Zuckerberg doesn't live
He came up
on
Florida.
mainland USA. I think he has his house in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he has another home in somewhere in Asia. It's the reason why a lot of these multi-millionaires, decamillionaires have a second passport, because they don't want to be subject to getting taxed out the wazoo because they make a lot of money. And to the second part to your question, I think that you're mixing two things up. I think
There's a pro, yes.
the fact that the big social media companies are in the US is because once upon a time we were in a country where it was a lot freer to do a lot of these things with less overhead, less red tape.
Where was the internet started too, chronologically speaking?
Right, no, but what I'm getting at is the fact that the companies stay here because they were made here. They don't go out to other countries. The fact of the matter is that other countries might make their own platforms, but never really reach a global status, because the global status or the trendsetter, the tastemakers, are here in the States. Now
They have to come here in order, like TikTok, right? They have to be here.
right.
Yeah.
So exactly right. So the fact that's the way it is, it kind of just goes to show you how everything is structured. And to be quite honest, it's like I think it was a good thing that Elon took over X, because he basically is the one that said, I like free speech. This is part of the country an aspect of the country that's very necessary. And for big tech or social media companies to silence a person because they don't like what he or she said is crazy to me. It's crazy to a
but
lot of people.
It's
And-
like bringing a dog to the park when there's rules saying don't bring your dog to the park.
Again, there'll be parks like that, but there'll be other parks that aren't like that, and a lot of people are going to gravitate to the parks that are willing to let your dog roam in the
realistically,
park.
people still bring their ducks to wherever they want at the end of the day.
Of course, but I think that's not a very good example in the sense, or in this sense, because when you go take your dog to a park, the person that's in charge of the park doesn't ask for your name, your address, your zip code, and a valid credit card number
Or an ID.
or a picture ID, right? I mean, I think I again that's why I say it's not very fair to make that type of comparison. It's not very equivalent.
Or the park doesn't pay you, like for example on Facebook or Instagram, your social media trendsetter, and you say something that doesn't agree with them, and they cut you, blacklist you, if you will, and you don't get paid, and that's your livelihood. It's like, yeah.
Well, I think that happens more on YouTube side more than it does Facebook, and Facebook in general, and every flavor of it.
Yeah.
Facebook flavor of WhatsApp and Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever other company it owns under its umbrella. I think that YouTube, owned by Google, obviously by Alphabet,
The biggest search engine in the world. Yeah.
Well, I was hearing how that might change, because I don't think Google is taking into account how AI is going to play a role in, search. How do you integrate promotion or companies putting money down for promotion on AI?
Sponsored
Sponsors.
spots.
Yeah. How do you do that with AI? How do you sponsor anything on AI?
How can they monetize this?
How would they?
Would they?
Unfortunately, Google has to figure out that piece of the puzzle, or else their old search engine, it's awesome. I mean, they made their it got to a point where they made their their name an actual verb, right?
Ask Jeeves was there, ask.com, yahoo.com, yahoo that thing, or ask that thing.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
But they were there before that though.
But doesn't mean that they actually executed the way Google did.
Or were they at I agree. Wait a minute. So they're same result.
I'm pretty sure
method.
I'm pretty sure they got to a point where they had the opportunity, but they never capitalized on it, or maybe they didn't want to capitalize it because they didn't want to be known as a verb, right? But nowadays, what do you usually tell people, or what do you usually say?
Hey, Google.
Right,
like
Google
right
it.
now. Oh, damn it! Listen to me.
Yeah, I have to Google it, or Google it, or did you Google this or that? Like
it became a trend when I noticed that my mom was saying, like, you've been influenced, mom.
Well, I think our folks are a couple of years too late to that.
It's already strong. That's what I mean.
What I'm saying is that now with the whole this whole advancement of AI, how do they
how can you make bank with AI?
How do you properly promote and get paid for paid promotion if AI isn't gonna do that? It's gonna give you the answer to whatever you're looking for. So they have to figure out that piece of the puzzle, or else that aspect of the biggest aspect of their business. Well, not everybody depends on their search engine like Google does.
Very true.
So, like, take Microsoft for an instant, right, or an example, or Amazon as an example. Take Apple as an example.
Just Bing as an example. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bing is a search engine, but the difference is that Microsoft doesn't depend on Bing for money, right? It's part
hardware that we depend on.
Right. It's software.
Meanwhile,
Microsoft made its billions with its software.
Still is. You'll check in the notes right now when I'll talk about it.
Yeah, the money keeps rolling in.
It's hardware.
For who?
For Microsoft right now, and a lot of.
No, I don't think it is.
An example, a teaser, just a teaser. Just with the U.S. government with the glasses, the military glasses, they secured a military contract that guaranteed them over $90 billion for just
And-
2024.
And I insist that it's software because everyone around the world uses Microsoft for their,
Yes.
for the most part, for their processing, for their Word, for their Excel, for their. Now, I'm not saying that everyone uses it, but when you go to a computer, you know, chances are that you're using a
90%.
Microsoft.
It's Microsoft.
Microsoft. And even if we were to go, you know, back in time, usually it would be Microsoft with the competition of being what would
There's
be
three.
besides Apple and Linux.
There you go. You read my. There you go. You read my mind. It was gonna be Linux.
So again, knowing that, it's like, what other thing has the, what's it called, has Microsoft made besides Xbox and Bing? Like, really not much.
Military contracts as of 2018, and that's not long compared to what it's done before.
Yeah, that's just a drop in the bucket, bro. And they make more money off the revenue from their subscription service. So they have
To Microsoft
Outlook.
365 Outlook, yeah.
They have, again, all the cachet of their suite. So the whole suite of like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all these things are money generating stuff, you know? And okay,
And then
so they have,
getting themselves into the military complex. That's
again,
another-
I think you're emphasizing that way too much. Like, I get it, they get one big ass check, but that's cool and all, but
and
I
guaranteed
think,
for life now.
well, not until another company comes and outbids them, you know, especially now where the government is being placed under their microscope with, you know, how much unnecessarily overpriced spending they do, where at some point, you know, whoever the new president might be in the next 6 months or so, might want to cut down on costs, especially into their military industrial complex.
How the world is, I doubt they're gonna want to cut down on the military.
Oh no! I think we have a pretty good idea of what might happen.
They're gonna cut out on everything else, raise prices more, raise interest more, than cut off on the military probably right now.
Maybe if we are in the current situation, yes, but not if we have a different situation. Like, and it's not to get into politics, but let's just compare the track record, all right, with the three presidential candidates, right? So you have Republicans, Democrats, and you have independents. So right now, independents is being led by Robert F. Kennedy, right? Which, for the most part,
I'm
you can
too iffy. Yeah.
you could say, as far as like military wise, they're more of a isolationist type of people or a way of thinking. And again, I could be wrong. Not maybe there's more of a split there, but for the most part, they want to be out of the world's police, you know, as a job, right? They want to stop being, they want to isolate and take care of business here. Where right now, as of right now, the Democratic Party is the one in power, and they're the ones that want to be out
the world's
there,
police, yes,
and being in war, funding both sides of the war, and XYZ, and that's a lot of money that they're spending on that, right? So then we go right to the Republicans, where they're not let me rephrase it. They're not isolationists, but they're not also, you know, warmongers, where they want to do a little bit of both. So from a lot of
they're in the middle, you mean? Like out of those three, they're like most in the middle?
Depending on who the representative is from each side. So you know how each state has their own representative, their own what's it called, governor, and their own senators. So a lot of them are split on what they should do in the current situation. But if you have a presidents such as former President Trump, the way he ran the government beforehand was with, showing his exerting his dominance over countries or over the power he had as commander-in-chief of the United States. And during his 2-year term as president, there was no wars, no talk of wars, there was no attacks, compared to the track record that President Biden has right now. It's like we've seen more wars and more attacks and more this and a lot of stuff during his 2 years than compared to Trump. So again,
wasn't Trump in for 4 years?
No, not that I'm aware
As a
of.
president, how many years do you get to be a president?
Isn't it a 2-year term for president?
I thought it was 4.
I mean, we can always look it up,
Yeah, checking.
but I'm pretty sure it's 2, 4 in total. For
No,
two,
you
for two
can
terms.
see checking. Yep, let me check because that one is like I feel like we have to let's see. Because I remember 2016, Trump was in the thick of it already. He was already president in 2016.
You might be confusing his re-election.
He became When did Trump become president? Let's see.
No, the original question was how many terms per presidency.
Yeah. No. How long he was as a president, not at terms as a president. Yeah, as a president, 2 terms. But that term as a president.
Each term is 2 years, I believe.
It's the other way. It's 4 years, 2 terms. In total, 8. Obama.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's 4 years, right?
Yeah.
As a president?
And the max of 2 terms, yeah.
So it's 8 years. Okay, well, I was wrong.
No, anyways, yeah.
So, but the point being, again, not to try to get stuck in how long he was there, but the time that he was there, again, comparing both of them on their terms as president, one significantly did things differently to the point where there were no wars or no attacks compared to
He
the
tried to
other
get out
one.
of one, basically, too. He signed the process to get out of one.
Right. You probably are you talking about the Abraham Accords?
No, Afghanistan.
Who are you talking about?
With Trump to get out of Afghanistan, he signed everything to start the process and everything. Like, if anything, that was a good
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Right. But then that went to very bad decision on the current president because he did a very bad job of extracting the troops from Afghanistan, which led to a lot of death, unnecessary death, and a lot of equipment worth
So he
billions
could
of
have stopped
dollars.
it. You're trying to say he could have, even though somebody started it, he could have stopped it. I agree.
He could have done a way better job of extracting our military personnel from Afghanistan and still been, had some sort of presence where they would still be helpful to the allies that were made over there in Afghanistan.
20 years, goddamn. Yes.
The consequences of that is that now the radicals in Afghanistan took over, killed the people that were helping the U.S. government.
President ran from over there, though, the one that was representing the country.
So
Ran, yeah.
it went from bad to worse, and that
Yes.
vacuum was
Yes.
left nothing but death and disorder. And again, these are the two things that we're comparing. Now, on its face, you might say, well, yes, but no, we have enough, evidence to show that one was clearly maybe not the best, not the greatest, but it was a lot better than what we have currently.
I agree.
And if we're hurting, I mean, we're trying to be as objective as possible, right? Not that we have the best choices at the moment. No, there's always a better choice, but unfortunately, we don't have that better choice on hand. And unless you want to vote as for independent, I mean, that's always another option.
That's a
But
wild
again,
card, though. That's unknown.
Well, not that it's unknown. It's just, do you think that the policies that the third party is presenting, something that you can, get on with, get on the program with? If not, then again, slim pickings.
The choice is yours.
I can say, yeah.
That's your choice, dear listener. Vote your conscience. Vote what agrees with you.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily with conscience. I would try to look at the actual policies and what makes sense, because unfortunately, a lot of the country voted with their conscience or their feelings, and this is what we get as a result with the current president, because we thought that he was an old kindly man that wasn't gonna get into trouble and keep the course, but that wasn't. No.
No, I agree. I said. I'm not saying. No, I agree.
I'm just trying to point out that could be worse. No, we're in the thick of it. It is worse.
It is worse.
We're in the thick of it right now.
Yeah.
And if we're splitting hairs about
it's not who starts it, it's who finishes it, basically.
Bro, it is bananas at the point where a lot of people.
We're flying the plane as it's being built, basically. God dang it.
That's right.
God dang it. Yes. You're it's always that though. And that's that's just adulting.
No. I wish we were adulting. This is beyond adulting. We're trying to make, $20 out of 2 cents. That's what we're doing right now.
And that's
we're trying.
Yeah.
And we're trying to keep the lights on in this place, water running, and food on the table, and it's becoming
with 2 cents.
With 2 cents, it's becoming a lot more difficult. And again, I want to say that it's going to get better, but we don't know. Even if President Trump becomes a president again, I don't know how he's going to get this ship back on course, if he can or if he's able to. But all I can really say is that, what can I do for myself, for the people that I love, for the people that I care about?
Your family, yeah.
Right. What can I do? So those are the things that I think we should keep in mind more than anything else. As far as the other stuff, well, this is the reason why I was sending you guys videos with financial, literacy, having a better fundamental, background and I guess a broader understanding of how you can be more savvy with your money is a great first step, I think, to helping out.
Yes.
I do also wanted to throw in a mix of other things, a mixed bag, if you will, of other little information that I shared with you guys, whether it be, something that's a little less, I guess, how can I put it, less stressful, like the video game that people were criticizing, or this one certain person was criticizing. I think sent food, and I sent
Mother's Day's gifts.
Yes. Mother's Day's gifts. Yes. I also sent what's the other one where people were talking about the new flavors of the season or the week with different companies, whether it be Wendy's or Dunkin' Donuts or Dairy Queen or anything else in between. It's like there's a lot of things coming out, and I'm excited to try to taste all those things that I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with that one. So with that, shall after this preamble, if you will, shall we kick off the notes?
Yeah, go through them, bro. I think we touched a couple of them actually.
We tease. We're not a tease here, dear listeners. Literally without any prompting, they came to be. So with this, dear listeners, I bring you cybersecurity alert. Intel processors under attack again by Tech Explorer. So it says, what is it? The attacks. Oh wait, hold up. It says computer scientists found new security vulnerabilities in Intel processors. Now, this also says that the attacks exploit the conditional branch predictor in these processors. What does that mean? Let's find out. It says the attacks can potentially compromise billions of processors that are out there in the market, dear listeners, from my computer to your computer out there, or maybe even other stuff that have these Intel processors. Researchers were able to capture the order of branches taken by a program and steal secret data. Okay, so basically
Data, you say?
data, yes. It says Intel and AMD have been informed of this vulnerability, of the vulnerabilities, and are issuing security updates. So, moral of the story: update your OS whenever it tells you that there's updates from AMD, Intel, Exynos, whatever other chip that you use, your phone, your laptop, your tablet.
Lay's, Doritos, Frito-Lays.
Yes, sir.
Chips.
Always check for updates and expiration dates on those Lay's and Doritos.
Yes.
It's not a sell-by date. It's a best, not BUI. It's BY. Okay. It's some of the. Be careful, because one of our our business partners was trying to run that by me with milk, dear listeners. Okay. Milk. They said, "Oh, the date is I'm gonna date myself here. The date is 4/21/2024. Oh, that's the sell-by date, bro. Big. I know I'm blind and everything, but it says, it was already curdling on the. It was curdling already on the 22nd. The next day, like, obviously we in my coffee shop where we don't have those insulated pumps that you can pump the milk and everything in your coffee thing. Our situation is that we have to always bring in and out from the refrigerator, meaning that we have to put milk or the dairy product in the danger zone. Serve safe, dear listeners. And the guy and the delivery guys was saying, that's the sell-by date for the milk, not the sell-by, not the best by BY. You know what I mean? Spelling is key, okay? The sell-by date and the use-by date, I'm like that. It's curdling on the next day.
So usually milk has the use-by date, right?
Correct. Not the sell-by. You're right.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to put something
Chips
like that
also
on.
have the use-by. You're correct, Alan. So why does he blowing smoke up? To do that? That's just foul. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Nick, I'm getting carried away. Next subject. Number 2. Milk is triggered. I'm literally getting triggered over expired milk. Over expired milk.
Milk.
Okay, number 2. E-waste breakthrough. Circuit boards get a recycled upgrade. Again by Tech Explorer. It says a team of researchers developed a new type of circuit board made from a Vitromer. Yeah, a Vitromer. A recyclable polymer plastic, basically, but it's more efficient at being reused, dear listener. This new circuit board can be recycled multiple times without it losing material. Again, when using stuff, there's wear and tear, basically. And specifically in hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars of circuit board on your computer and your phone, you can't use it that many times, meaning you have to waste energy into remelting it, reprocessing it. With this company, or these researchers, they haven't developed a company, but they found that it's feasible with this special mix of plastic to make a reusable circuit board with as little energy to expended to make it new again, if you will. So, the recycled circuit boards perform just as well as traditional circuit boards. So the technology is new. So it's not even version 1. It's still in it's in the lab. It's in development. This could significantly reduce electric waste. Of course, dear listeners, e-waste, if you will. Again, title of this segment. And unfortunately, right now, not only is there chemical waste because it's plastic, it's more energy waste because you have to eat once you send it to recycle with current plastics. You have to melt it, separated by its base chemicals, and you put them in receptacles so that you can reuse them in different procedures. For example, our milk containers, they're separated, they're processed, they're shredded, and all those things. And once they're separated, they're turned into their base chemicals that can be sold to another company to be reused to make a circuit board, to make a new set of shoes or something like that, because plastic is basically on everything, even your credit cards, by the way. Number 3, and talking about, these plastics and your credit cards, what do? You get sweaty, grinding, rising and grinding. You sweat, you build up a thick sweat, right, Alan?
I think so.
So sweat could be your shield against the Lyme disease, against Lyme disease.
Oh my.
Yes, sir. And we're in the East Coast, you might say.
Yes, sir.
It's infamous for being with being maybe the origin place, I'm not too sure, of Lyme disease. Again, don't quote me on this, but I'm on the East Coast, and Lyme, I think there's a town named Lyme, and it was named after the town where the first case was recorded. Don't quote me on it. If you want to do the research, choice is yours, dear listener. But here we go. Let's go with the story. Brought to you by Science News. Researchers found a protein called gobbledygook. No, I'm just kidding.
Gobbledygook.
SCGB102, in sweat that may, quote unquote, may protect people from Lyme disease. The protein stopped the growth of bacteria that causes Lyme disease in lab tests. Maybe in mice, dear listeners, because they're the most. Oh yeah, they did. Mice injected with this protein, and the bacteria were also protected. So, they're still doing lab tests with mice because they're the closest thing to people. People, by the way, with a mutated version of the protein were more likely to be infected, meaning that you gotta get the OG protein for this, not a modded version, if you will. So this suggests that SCGB1BD2 could be a future treatment of preventative measures for Lyme disease. However, more research is needed, aka these scientists, these lab workers need to break a sweat to find out. They need to do some cardio and produce that lab data to inject the mice and get them the final results. But again, this is the freshest news, the sweatiest news of today, if you will, dear listeners. Cells have a secret. Now for the next one, brought to you by SciTech Daily. Cells have a secret language. New discovery challenges in biology. Okay, what does that mean? Scientists discovered a new secret communication system in cells. It allows cells to respond quickly to environmental changes, meaning there's a traditional way that cells communicate that make them move, but this other way makes them go faster. The system is based on ion gradients and that's a word, cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton, want to do research, dear listeners, go ahead. The link is in the notes. It allows cells to respond quickly to environmental changes. There we go. In the past, scientists thought DNA was the only source of cellular information. The new research suggests there is another way cells communicate. Okay, this finding could impact our understanding of cell functions and maybe even cancer. So another way. This is again too fresh off the ovens. This is the first early findings of this information, dear listeners. I get excited because again, every single person listening to this and beyond on Earth are made of cells. And these cells have multiple ways. It only makes sense, personally speaking. It only makes sense that our cells have multiple communication systems that we don't know, and there's probably even more that we don't know of our body. But again, scientists are always rising and grinding to get more ideas, and they're going to be breaking a sweat, and they're probably going to need, a lot of data sources. And it's exciting for me, getting to know more of our body, things that our body already produces that can protect us of, the bad mean environment. And then, plastics of us having our e-waste reused again more efficiently. And obviously, getting ourselves some protect, not only from Lyme disease and other mean things in the real world, but also, we're getting protected in the cyberspace, with vulnerability reports. What do you think, Alan?
I think you're spot on with that one.
Yeah.
As far as since over here on the East Coast, especially right around where we live, we tend to get very humid summers, and usually perspiration is one of those major factors that play or have a role into our daily lives during summertime.
Yes.
And I go camping, not always, but usually it's once a year during between summer and fall, and obviously those are the warnings that the campsites usually let you in on, right? To be careful. If you see bears or deers or X, Y, or Z, just to be careful, especially with deers, because they like to roam around and get close, and a lot of times those are the ones that are carrying ticks. And to Mr. Marco's point, where we were talking before, it's those are the animals or the insects that carry or potential carrier of Lyme disease.
Yes.
And I know it's a pain in the ass, especially knowing people that have Lyme disease. It's a pain in the ass because it really attacks your what is it, your
joints.
Right. Your joints, and I guess the really messed up thing is that because it messes up your joints, it almost feels like you have arthritis and stuff like that, and that sucks a lot.
What do they tell you to protect yourself? A very basic way to protect yourself.
Well, I've seen. I don't know if you've seen these in the pharmacy or whatnot. But you can definitely get it on Amazon or some other pharmacy. They have repellent that you can spray on yourself. So the one I use, not sponsored yet, is the Deep Woods, insect repellent. It's a little green aerosol can, and I think the company is called Off, and it's the Deep Woods one, where it's like a sports type of a spray where it's not going to run off your body because of sweat, so it stays there a little longer, and definitely you can reapply. I want to say it's after 8 hours or so, or 4 or 8 hours, something like that. The point is, or every 2 hours. But the point is that you apply it to your skin or your clothes or both, and it gives you some sort of protection against not only mosquitoes, flies, gnats, or whatever the case is, but also ticks. Especially the Deep Woods version of it. It helps with ticks. And it's something that's always really handy, especially during summer, when you're probably going to be out and about more often because of the warmer weather. So yeah, that's a good way of protecting, and a good way of, mitigating you getting some Lyme disease because you got bitten by a tick.
So not only do you have to wear sunscreen, now also you have to wear this spray. You have to spray yourself double.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to put on, the sunscreen that's like a lotion based type of thing, you can definitely use that instead of aerosol or the spray. And again, yeah, we have to go and jump through hoops, and I think it's really necessary because obviously you don't want skin cancer if you get too much exposure to the sun. So that's also not a good look. So I much rather put on some sunscreen and spray a little bit of the Off Deep Woods bug repellent, because I think it's necessary.
Yes, sir. And what about the recycled, being able to recycle new, to prevent e-waste, new circuit board models? Like, do you think it's a better idea, like, to have that process of more usability instead of tearing them down and burning up the plastics?
I mean, to be honest, I think that's just a drop in the bucket compared to a lot of the things that people could be doing. Is it a good idea? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, what does that really guarantee, or how long is that, new item that is made out of that material really gonna last, right? So,
that's a good question.
Yeah, because I remember maybe a couple of days ago, I was reading on our article. I think it was I forgot what publishing company put it out there, but they were saying how they were recycling Boeing planes to make into, I think it was Delta, if I'm not mistaken, Delta or Amex, American Express. So the point is that they basically recycled Boeing airplanes and made them into credit cards for limited edition cards. So they kind of were recycling old planes and making credit cards out of them. But to be honest, how many of these credit cards are they really going to make with a whole plane? I highly doubt that they were going to do that.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough people for cards to go around. I mean, that's a lot of cards, essentially. So,
Amex being very ambitious with that one.
Yeah, I don't know what their process or their head was when they were thinking about doing this. But it's a nice gesture. It's nice to know that they care somewhat. But to be honest, I think that the panels of the plane and stuff like that could be repurposed for other things that are a lot more useful than keeping them in your pocket or in your wallet or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But I remember back in the day, how in schools, public schools, you have the little jungle gym outside, and that composite that's under your feet that's kind of squishy. Yeah. So apparently those are made out of recycled sneakers and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, not a lot of companies I think are into that, but there are some that are, and I think that's great. That's another way of repurposing things. Again, is that 100% sneaker there? No, of course not. There might be sneakers that are upper are made out of leather or something that could probably be better used for something else. But again, the repurposing, recycling, I think it's all good and well, but I tend to think that's a drop in the bucket, where it's there might be other ways that our resources could be better, deployed to make a bigger change, I guess, if that's what you're going for, to help to lessen the
waste bucket
the e-waste, as it's being called.
If anything, grab what's present of e-waste, of circuit boards and all those things, cannibalize it, and find a way to use those guys to turn it into a recycled material. But again, they're not telling you the recipe. They're just saying these are the results of this new recipe. And it sounds like a sales pitch. If anything, you're trying to sell me on your circuit board because on the stance of it being more recyclable.
Yeah, does it even work well?
There you go. It has a 50% decrease in performance, but you can recycle it more times. That makes no sense.
I'm guessing 100 people out of 100 are gonna say no, thank you. Give me the one.
It don't matter if I can only use it once, but it's the bee's knees when I have it on market. That's what I want.
Yeah, you want something that works and performs well because you're spending money. Especially the way the economy is right now, it's if you're going to spend good money on something, you expect it to work 100% of the time without 50% depletion or at
that's
the
just
few times you use it.
You're just injecting your politics as your sales pitch, and that's not going to work with everything.
No, and okay, let me go at it a different way, because that was just one of many examples, right? Maybe you say, how much how much recycling pieces are used for this component. Well, I'm the type of person that wants 80% of the whole component made out of recycled goods. Sorry, we can only do 30% of it. Well, that's not good enough.
Huh?
So
What?
for that matter, or for that reason, I don't want to use your product.
Get out
So
of here.
again,
Yeah.
there again, if maybe you don't like the first pitch, maybe the second one is a lot more your speed. Again, there's going to be people that are not going to like it. That's the net of it. That's the the result. People are just not going to want it. And me personally, not so much the politics. It's more of like the performance. It's like, dude, if I'm going to spend money on something, I expect it to work, and I expect it to work well, and I expect it to last longer than a week.
I can recycle it a million times, but you have to buy 1,000 of them to get the same performance of this one
Right.
circuit board that's going to last you 10 years. That one's going to last you a month, but you're going to be able to use it 1,000 times.
You're going to be able to prop it up and say, "Hey, look at me." You know,
You're,
I'm such a good person because
holier than thou.
because I use recycled components. Like, come on, dude.
Again, what's the word? It's not it's not that you're doing actually good. It's that you're looking like you're doing something good. What's the word of that?
I was gonna say cloud chasing, but you can also probably use what's it called?
You're faking it.
Virtue signaling.
You're virtue signaling. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that do that for that reason. Yes, and
Is it a viable business option though?
I haven't heard of any companies that IPO'd that are
On
virtue signaling.
No.
No,
For
of
example,
course.
the one that you've always given me is that you use something for carbon miles, right? That you offset it with carbon.
Right. I forgot what it was called, the carbon neutral credits or whatever the case is. I forgot what they were using some sort of like ocean tree type of thing.
But that's a side effect, not the main source of the deal. Versus this one, oh, you can recycle it more times.
Well,
But is it working?
It's not. I don't think it's much of a side effect. It's more of like they're trying to probably the best term or word for it is to try to make money off of what the new rules and regulations for whatever political party is kind of pushing for going green is doing, right? So you're trying to capitalize on that. That's pretty much what's happening. So
Versus this one.
no, exactly. So one company is trying to be green for the sake of being green. The other one is trying to make profit because that's
It
just
looks green.
no, just because that's the climate of what's going on
The
politically.
climate
speaking.
is hot for that.
No, it's been pretty chilly, so
I agree. No, I'm just saying it sounds good on paper, but
Right.
realistically,
right. I think the paper is a lot more effective than that recycled junk.
there you go. There you go. Yes. It's you're giving me not even a version 1. You're telling me that it's a possible option. I'm not gonna say take my money. What am I gonna get out of it? Literally.
Yeah, I think more than anything else, it's the fact that people want a virtual signal, and I think that the only reason there's a market for it is because they get some sort of stipend or some sort of
They get the kickback, not you.
no, they pass on the what's it called,
They get the
pass on
government
junk to you.
kickback, and you get
They pass on the savings to themselves, and they
There you go.
pass
On both
the-
ends, you give them money, and the government gives them money.
Right. So
See, look
again,
See, I didn't talk about that.
I mean, call me skeptical if you like, but I'm just trying to be cautious, especially with the money that is given to me because I work, and I'm trying to look for the best bang for my buck. And to be honest, sometimes like buying recycled stuff isn't for me. It's not something that I look forward to trying to buy, not because there isn't options. It's just that most of the options probably suck, and I'm trying to get
spend more to do the same.
Right, and then I'm gonna have to I have to spend more to try to get the same result compared to me buying one thing, and especially going back to the original piece, right, which is like components for computing. Like, dude, there's a reason why you have refurbished laptops, phones, and whatnot on Amazon, eBay, and the like.
They last.
Because those are the type of things that people don't want to use anymore. And to your point, they last, right? It's not like you're gonna get a recycled one, right?
It's not like a crash test dummy that you're chucking a laptop or a phone against the wall. At least 99% of the people aren't doing that.
Yeah, and again, that to me is, repurposing more than recycling, because it's already made. That's the difference. Recycling is like you taking pieces apart and then re-putting them together, right? Or reassembling
melting it down and spending the coal or the fire, the gas to create that fire to melt. Right,
you're using the same, if not more, energy
to
rebuild something that was already good, or maybe an older version, but it was still all right, right? Or even to something different that has nothing to do with the original product, and then you can only use that one piece for a certain component or a certain part of something else that really doesn't make sense for you to spend the money or waste the energy, but you did it anyway just to say that you have recycled components or whatever the case is. That to me is bananas.
Yes, it is. And just because we try to keep ourselves PG, I feel like let's keep it on that one. Now, would you like to continue with the squad chat, Alan?
Yeah, go ahead. Or you want me to read the next one?
The squad notes, yes. Samsung.
We're up to Samsung. Okay, so it says Samsung is making changes, and this is an entrepreneur link that we have right next to it. The bullet point says Samsung forces a crisis after poor financial performance. The second bullet point, executive now mandated to work a 6-day week in quotations emergency mode. The third bullet point, results may vary since longer work hours do not always equal better results. So these are the three bullet for what we were stating earlier, which is Samsung is making changes. Now, the article goes to say, and it's titled "Samsung makes 6-day work weeks mandatory for executives as the company enters emergency mode." So basically, the key takeaways are, and this is an article by again entrepreneur.com, and the writer here, or the contributor, is Sharon Shibu. Yep, Sharon Shibu. So the three key takeaways. The first one being Samsung is introducing a 6-day work week for executives. The second one is the company had its worst financial year in over a decade last year. And thirdly, the World Health Organization found that working more than 55 hours per week increases the risk of heart disease by 17%. Now,
there's stats, dear listeners, already.
Well, not all stats are correct. Remember, this is the same organization that said that you needed to do or take emergency whatnot into your body, which, they're just going to sweep under the rug, right? Well, anyways, back to our article. It says 4-day work weeks might have all the buzz, but one major tech company is going in the opposite direction. Samsung is implementing a 6-day work week after all executives, after some of the firm's core businesses delivered lower than expected financial results last year. A Samsung Group executive told a Korean news outlet that considering that performance of our major units, including Samsung Electronics company, fell short of expectations in 2023, we are introducing the 6-day work week for executives to inject a sense of crisis and make all-out efforts to overcome this crisis. I'll read a little bit more and then then I guess we'll stop so we can just kind of have a couple of words in for this one. It says lower performance combined with other economic uncertainties like high borrowing costs have pushed the South Korean company to enter emergency mode per Korea Electronic Daily. Per the Korea Economic Daily. And I'll stop there. So basically they fell short of expectations of 2023, and the result is that now they want their workers to have a 6-day work week. And I think this is a result not only because of lower expectations, because they don't have, and again, it clarifies here, not only it's Samsung Electronics company. We're talking about Samsung as a whole. So their other endeavors or business endeavors also have taken a hit. And what they're trying to do is probably mitigate how much they're spending on employees, and they employ a lot of people. Samsung employs a lot of people.
I'm telling you, I feel like they employ the whole country over there.
But not only the country, but outside the country as well. I think more than anything else, what they're trying to do is try to mitigate the amount of money that they're leaking, right? They're hemorrhaging with payroll and stuff like that
and higher expenses.
Right, but I think that is one of the reasons why they're doing it, because of the higher expenses, right? So the higher expenses mean that they need to cut down on personnel, but because they have so much personnel, they don't want to cut down on them. They probably think it's a better idea to just go to a 6-day work week, so they save a day on payroll. That might be one angle that they're playing. Another one might be something else and it might be like just a stopgap measure where it's like, if they're able to recoup these next 2 quarters, or maybe this next year of 2024, they'll probably return to this a strategy and reassess, and probably go back to 7-day work week without losing any of their workers. So all they did was, have them work 6 days instead of 7, and perhaps they'll figure out maybe some people don't need to work there 7 days a week. They might only need to work 5 days a week because they learned that that it took less people to do the same amount of work, because people are kind of stressed out that they might lose their job. And I guess they kind of fit in some sort of situation or fact that, less work means less stress, which means a happier worker, which means more productive worker, which means more money for us. I mean, they can play that angle, but I don't see them really, or that angle not being very helpful, because not everybody works at Samsung Electronics. They have other departments where, they have people that actually do probably physical things, right? Well, whether that be in some sort of like chemical engineering or something along steel workers or construction or XYZ, right? That are under the Samsung umbrella, but don't necessarily, sit in cushy, office building or offices. So it might be a different situation for them. So that's the way I look at it. I don't know. What are your 2 cents, my good sir?
My God, mind you, they have millions of dollars spent in doing this R&D to find the optimal amount for a big company. I think Samsung is just as big, or maybe even more or bigger in diversity than Apple, Google, Microsoft, all these other companies. Their fingers, like Alan said, are in many pies. They have more pies in fingers in pies than I can imagine, than I can think of. So when they say 6 days work week, they're saying that they're working up to 55 hours a week, which is like you're working from Monday to Saturday, versus in some places like over here in the radio, they were saying, oh, you're working from Monday to Thursday, let's say. And again, a feasible thing that I'm thinking about is expenditure for payrolls. That's a good idea. But now their emergency mode, which again, they were 100% they were advised to do this. This wasn't a thing from, oh, I'm shooting from the hip, I'm thinking out of the box, let's just add another day to work. They have economists, financial advisors that's running the numbers, giving them reports live, deeper than anything that Alan and I could ever think of. I'm telling him, you need X hours on your shift, on your guys. And again, all these other branches could always, we don't know what other branches, like, oh, we need more hours on the phone department, we need more hours on the steel mill department, we need less hours on the customer service one. This is just a superficial thing, mind you, dear listeners. But as a brand, as a recognized, I would say globally recognized brand, ironically, dear listeners, I have a Samsung washer and dryer. As a recognized brand, I feel like losing 10% is a big thing for them. And again, rising prices, inflation, all those things in South Korea, is making them shift to this emergency mode. And it's deeper than I can ever fathom. That's what I'm trying to give you, dear listeners. It's a deeper thing. They have professionals recommending this. My takeaway is like, damn, couldn't be me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying it sucks though. And even the big boy companies are struggling out here.
I think it's executives trying to show or lead by example, and hence they make everybody do the same thing, where everyone's taking a day off of their job, right, just to try to get the ball rolling on keeping more money than they waste, right, especially on payroll.
It's the culture over there too.
Well, I don't know how much it's the culture, because I think it's unfair to compare Samsung to other companies, just because a lot of their businesses are in Korea, so they're making and they're spending and making money in won instead of dollars, right?
Dollars, yeah.
Right. So that's one major difference, where they don't necessarily make all their money in dollars. They make a lot of their money is in the local currency. Maybe they make money in other currencies besides dollars and won, but I'm not too familiar with that information.
They're bringing a factory to Texas, but not yet.
We can't put that into on the pie chart. But what we do know is that a lot of their businesses and companies and personnel I guess mostly reside in South Korea. So again, what their living expenses are, or the quality of life of how they live, is a lot different from here in the States. And I think that has a lot to do with why they're only doing 6-day work week, right? So I don't think I think it would be a blow to them, to their workers, more than anything else, a crazy one at that, if they just started selecting some and telling them, well, today you work, today you don't work. I think that's a pretty smart move on their behalf, by telling them, okay, we're all only working 6 days a week, right, until we recoup, or someone finds the miracle solution to something or other in order for us to monetize on it. Then until that happens, we're all working 6 days. So I think they might implement this for, again, maybe 6 months, 12 months, maybe a month and a half or a year and a half. It really depends on how the market is, right? At some point, if it gets any better, then maybe they'll start working 7 days a week again. Maybe it gets worse, maybe they'll start working even
7.
and even more hours to try to pick up or stay up with demand. That's as far as I can think it.
Or to stay up with bills,
Well,
to be able to pay all their bills.
yeah, right. But I think again, that's how they're gonna tackle that situation a little bit, with only having 6 days of work, and that day off they get to quote unquote relax.
Yes. It's just crazy though. It's crazy. Even the big companies aren't exempt from this. Everyone catches the strays nowadays.
Oh yeah, they catch these hands.
Damn. Okay, now with that giant, go for the next Amazon giant, Alan.
Okay, so it says here, say goodbye to budget Prime videos. This is Engadget website article. So it's there's 3 bullet points as well. It says the first one being Prime Video only plans discontinued. Amazon no longer offers standalone Prime Video subscriptions. The second bullet point, shift to full Prime. Users must now subscribe to full Amazon Prime for streaming access. And then the third and last bullet point for this one, obscured option. Amazon had made the Prime Video only plan increasingly difficult to find. So that is the third and final bullet point. Now, if we go to Engadget real quick, let's go. And let me see right here. Let me read a little bit off the article. So this is a article. The contributor here was Will Shacklin for Engadget, and it says and the title of this article is a correction on Amazon Prime Video subscriptions. So it states here, correction, April 18th at 7:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Amazon has disputed Cord Busters report and confirmed the Prime Video only plan is still available in the US as a standalone $8.99 monthly subscription. Users wishing to sign up for the service can navigate here, and it's highlighted with a little hyperlink to it.
Yes.
And select Prime Video under plan. The original incorrect article follows unedited. We regret the error. All right. So it says here, Amazon appears to have nixed its Prime Video only plan in the US and UK. Cordbusters reports that little-known subscription introduced in 2016 is no longer available to new users in either country. Those trying to sign up for the previously $8.99 monthly plan or €5.99 monthly in the UK are now directed to the landing page, a full Amazon Prime membership. The Prime Video plan launched 8 years ago, priced to undercut Netflix at the same time. And that's in what's it called? These things called in parentheses. There you go. At the time, $9.99 a month subscription price for standard HD streaming up to 2 devices. Although the option stuck around for close to a decade, Amazon increasingly buried it, making it impossible to sign up for on mobile devices. It was also increasingly difficult to find on desktops, where you had to navigate to an easy to miss see more plans, this is quotation, see more plans section of the Prime sign up page. The Prime Video plan never even got a price increase during that time, further illustrating how obscure Amazon apparently wanted it to remain. Now, it appears to be gone for good. Cordbuster says it was recently removed in the US and axed from the Amazon UK earlier this week. And it goes on saying your subscription should still work if you're already on the Prime Video only plan. But if you cancel it or switch it to the full Prime membership, don't expect to see an option to return it. Engadget reached out to Amazon to ask about the change. We'll update this article if we hear anything back, is basically the gist of the last piece. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that business is business. I don't know if you're very into the Amazon ecosystem as far as like the shows and TV and stuff like that goes.
Very little, not negligible.
So yeah, I'm on the same boat as you, buddy. Like, it doesn't really affect me as much as it's pushing for inclusivity amongst the other
I'm just saying,
streaming.
it was their platform.
Yeah,
And they had that pricing scheme, and they were at liberty of modifying. This report is just stating that they hungry, like Amazon hungry. Now you gotta always be a member to be able to watch the and have an Amazon Prime account. Not only a regular Amazon account, not only an account on Amazon Video Prime Video. Now you have to be a Prime member on the entire ecosystem. They didn't want to do it before because of XYZ reasons they didn't explain. They only said that it made it harder. So now, because situation have changed, TOS has terms of services have changed. Now it's fully gone. You have to 100% be a full member of Amazon Prime, and it's just like you said, business. They're just doing business. I'm neither here nor there. It's their platform, their services, and I'm a member. And I'll go through my Amazon account, Prime account, to watch. What was the last video I saw? I saw something in the girl from Big Bang Theory. She has a live action. Yeah, a live action. Penny, her name was. It was basically the Spy X Family with the girl, the moms on Spy X Family. What's her name? I forgot her name.
So did I. I'm not blanking on
Yeah,
it.
the Spy X Family, the mom. It's basically a live action of that, but with the girl of Big Bang Theory. She has a double life.
It's not Yuri, is it?
I think so. People, please crusade us on the chat, on the notes, on the comments. Like, it's Yuri, it's whoever, it's basically that series. It's a combination of Spy X Family / True Lies, except it's on the female, on if the mom was the spy.
Right.
And that was the last thing I saw, and I only saw one episode.
Bruh.
I haven't been interested in watching more. It's a fresh new series, but I recommend it. And it's their own business. You can't really hate on them. I can't hate on them. They're changing something that they already ran for a decade, mind you, listeners, since 2014,
Right.
13. They've been doing this, and nobody cared until it's gone. You never knew how good you had it until it was gone, dear listener. So don't hate. Just you can't really ask for it to be returned. By the way, just continue on. It's their platform and it's their business. Don't hate.
Appreciate.
Move on with your life. Appreciate. Yes. What do you think, Alan?
I think let's move on to the next one.
There you go. Let's go. Next. On to the next.
So the next one, and it's the final one here on the show notes, it says the top deals for Mother's Day, and this is a YouTube video. And I do believe that this is from, I want to say, an influencer on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. This person basically breaks down gift ideas that you can definitely get for your mom this Mother's Day. And I thought it was really helpful and really insightful, because not every person or not every mom is going to want to have certain items just because they might think that they have a better eye for knowing what they want, so they'll go buy it. And then also the items that are mentioned here, I think it's a very well-rounded list of items that could be potential buys for your mom. And me personally, I'm trying to think and trying to like decide what would be a good gift to gift my mom for Mother's Day. And I'm still looking, I'm still searching, not sure what, but whatever it is, I hope I make a good decision to getting her something that she actually likes or needs. But yeah, that's my take. What about you, Marcos?
Discounts. This is the latest and greatest stuff that I recommend for Mother's Day. It's I'm neither here nor there. I appreciate the hustle, and I'm not against it. But it's a daily scoop from an influencer. You know, technically anyone that's on YouTube or any social media and has that much followers. Is this a paid promotion? That's my question. Is this a paid sponsorship from them?
I don't know.
Are they paid?
Maybe. I don't know. Good question.
I didn't think about that until now. I'm like, it is. If it is, more power to them. But if you're gonna do it, if this video helps you, your listeners, to watch, to buy something for your mommy dearest, go ahead. Wait a minute. Do your thing. Do your thing. You know, if you want anything to buy from here, go buy it.
Right.
I'm neither here nor there. And now with that, shall I go to the other one?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
What does the other one say? It's a YouTube short about Congress.
Right.
Shall we? Ready,
Go
Alex?
ahead.
It says from, let's see. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
What do you
sure.
think? Like, obviously, they went so hard that they basically gave their hand on what they find. It's politics, man. Global politics. It's it's very complicated, not kind of. Very complicated. And congressmen, businessmen, whatever, they rep the country, and you know, them dealing directly, underhandedly, trying to make back deals doesn't surprise me, but at the end of the day, they have to represent us. And I hope, you know, as of today, what happened to TikTok? Did it get banned? Did it get purchased, Alan?
No, I don't even know. I haven't even looked into it. I'm pretty sure they denied their offer to buy it, and they'd rather not participate in the App Store or show their app on their App Store. Yeah,
in the US
exactly. Because they don't want to sell. So they rather lose the business, at least here in the US, than trying to figure out.
And what were we talking about before? The US is one of the biggest countries, but one of the biggest markets.
Consumer, yeah,
if not
consumer market, yeah, definitely. As far as manufacturing, anything else, no, not really.
No, just consuming in that sense. Like, you're just consuming. Politically, I can't. It's their country. It's their choice. My opinions on their country is different compared to what, you know. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day what I think about their country, but it just says a lot. What the TikTok thing, even though it's trying to diverge itself from the CCP, it's just, you know, it just decided to part ways with its biggest consumer market. And it is, you know, I wish them the best, and hopefully the, you know, Congress or government is representing us to the best of their ability. Hopefully, that's what.
Yep. No, I think you pretty much got it, bro.
And you know, I pay taxes. I hope they do. You know,
exactly.
Now, what about the yen. You said that there's an even bigger update. Can you elaborate with this one from Only in Japan?
Right, so this was a YouTube video from John Dobb from Only in Japan. He was explaining how these past couple of weeks were very, very hard on Japanese people because the exchange rate to, say, the dollar as an example is at the time of the recording was like around 154 155 yen per dollar, which is pretty outrageous. And he was basically giving a Q&A or having a Q&A and recording with some of his followers about where to go in Tokyo for the best exchange rate if you do decide to go to Japan for vacay or whatever the case is. Excuse me. Or whatever the case is this year. It might be advantageous for you to start, changing or exchanging currencies so you can have money to spend, because Japan still is very much a cash only society. It makes a lot of sense to carry some cash, and one of the suggestions is that where to go, right, to do the exchange. He pretty much said that airport exchanges aren't the best. They'll give you a horrible,
but
for the efficiency that it brings, they usually are terrible at the exchange. So they basically profit quite a sum of money off the top. So maybe not the best place to go. Places he suggested, especially from also some of his, I guess you can say, fans that follow or followers that watch him, we're explaining how it might be a good idea to go to the 7-Eleven because their ATMs actually have pretty good exchange rates, and they're usually always open. He also shared why it might be tough to walk into a bank and try to get an exchange rate there. The exchange booths or something like that in Japan or in Tokyo might not be the best, but is always an option. And just to be careful for foreign transaction fees and stuff like that. If your card has it where you won't get charged international transaction fee, that might be a good choice of a card to use during your trip abroad. And obviously I have my own 2 cents and way of thinking about it, but they basically explained where to go and roughly speaking how much the yen to dollar exchange rate is. So as of tonight, being that it's a weekend, Saturday and Friday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the stock exchange closed for the day, and usually that kind of triggers or marks the closing of most markets, or if not all markets, with I think the exception of Bitcoin. But basically the exchange rate right now, dollar to yen, is 158 yen with 24 cents per dollar. For the exchange rate. Now, you can go to Google or you can go to other internet sites where
I went to XE.
I mean, if you could go to Google, I think that's a little bit more of an accurate take, because this XE, I think, is doing it at a price where they might have to make some profit on this one. So
yeah, that's their business. Yeah,
but it's roughly 158, right? Which that's unheard of. That is bananas, because what's
that's like South American money.
Not necessarily
from South America, like Colombia.
No, not necessarily, because you can't. It's not a apples to apples comparison. GDP is different. Quality of life is different. Their currency is different because of these things. The amount of people, the amount of things that they produce is also taken to you have to take in consideration for their money, or their currency that they use in their country. So it's not a one-to-one.
Yes.
But
Understood.
what I will say is that if you have ever thought of traveling to Japan, maybe right now is the best time to do it, because you'll be getting.
We said it before. That was good then. 130 something. Now it's even better.
158. Listen, I think for all the information I was giving in these videos, and there was like maybe 2 or 3 videos I watched and I shared, and other videos that came out obviously because of this news, I'll give you my 2 cents on this, right? So, and just really quick, in order for me to express this and get the point across, obviously I do have some sort of affiliate links in the show notes that my man Marcos will definitely be more than happy to provide. But this is the way I look at it. Me being from the States, from the United States of America, there's only really 3 things that I would definitely take in consideration and do when abroad, especially when I'm in Japan at this current moment, if I were to do that at this current exchange rate. So the three things would be this. I would have my high yields checkings account from Charles Schwab's. I would have a Wise account, which is an international account. And thirdly would be my Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card. Those are the 3 things I will be using in order for me to get around to Japan. All right, so this is the way I would do it. All right, so the tickets and everything to fly and the hotel stay over there is already paid for, because like any good soldier, you would probably buy those things in advance and have those things hashed out. All right. So the reason you would have a Wise account is because what I would do is basically the amount of money that I would like to spend over there or in cash. So like say I want to put like maybe $500, right? So I would put $500 onto my Wise account. So I would do the actual transfer between my American USD checkings account on Wise, on that same application, and just transfer those $500 to my Wise Japanese bank account, which is all in one page, and it's very simple to transfer one currency to another, and you can transfer it back if need be. So that's not a problem. It's all in one profile account, and basically just put $500 into the account, and this way you are able to spend in yen, from an actual debit card, and you don't get hit with the international foreign exchange fees, right? So that's one way of doing it. That would be my primary choice of using that particular card for going to a McDonald's, the Konbini, or anywhere that they accept, a debit card, credit cards, and stuff like that, where you can digitally pay, right, with your card. So that's that way. So you're able to spend in yen because you have yen on your actual card. Now, the Charles Schwab's high yields checking account is something I would have maybe another $300 to $500 in that card, where I can physically go to the bank or the ATM at the 7-Eleven or any bank with ATM and withdraw actual physical cash money. And the beauty about this Charles Schwab's high yields checkings account is the fact that you get reimbursed the money that you get charged at the ATM back into your brokerage account. So you don't lose money, and you are able to withdraw money at any ATM at a minimum to you. So this is the reason why I would use the Charles Schwab's card, because you get reimbursed for that minimal exchange that the ATM charges you. So you don't get hit with the charge. So that's the benefit of having a Charles Schwab's card. I definitely these two cards slash applications slash banks. Again, I'm using these two because I'm in the United States, and these two are offered to me and are available to me more than anything, right? And then going to the third one. Now, if I'm, and I mentioned it before, it's the Sapphire Preferred card from Chase. Now, the reason why I would use this credit card is because it has no foreign transaction fees. One, it has a benefit of insurance or warranty when I make purchases like of electronics and other things of the sort, right? So this is the reason I would use it. If I am going to a place where maybe I don't feel too comfortable using a debit card, I would just use a credit card, and it helps me mitigate any sort of problem if I don't feel comfortable enough using my debit card, like I mentioned before. And also, and this is like a benefit of the credit card. Say you need to rent a car, you can forego their car insurance and use a car insurance that is equipped with the credit card.
Outside of the US.
Yes, this credit card will cover your car insurance wherever you rent a car. The other benefit is that, say you buy an electronic device with the credit card, so that item might have a limited warranty. The credit card will extend the warranty, if not cover the warranty, a little bit more than regular warranty is given to that certain item. So that's another added benefit to the credit card. And again, if for whatever reason the card gets hacked or someone steals your information from the card, obviously the issuer will, cancel the card, send you a new card, and you don't get charged for any outstanding charges that were made outside of the things that you charge on the card. So you're not held liable for those charge or those mishaps, right? So that's the reason why I would use those three. Now, the reason why I like Weiss for this trifecta is the fact that it basically compares the other exchange rates of other companies or other apps compared to Weiss at that moment. And a lot of times Weiss will be either first or second, but it's transparent enough to tell you that maybe at some point it's not the best choice, and you can definitely choose other options. But usually Weiss does a really good job of keeping their prices competitive as far as exchange rates goes, and I can confirm that I used Weiss for Japanese currency, Mexican pesos, and American dollars. So I have all three accounts open into this one application, and I'm able to transfer money all three ways around, and it works very well. So that's my
seamless.
That's my spiel. Again, I'll have links to my affiliates on the show notes, and if you are so kind to use one of my affiliate links, I will be reimbursed monetarily a little bit. So I do appreciate everybody that does, use those affiliate links. And thank you again.
Just share them. Do you think you could share them just later on?
Oh yeah, definitely. I got you.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, that was a long one. And again, dear listeners, if you want to be, there's a lot of ways that you as an American or anywhere that you're listening, there's probably some benefits in your country on how you can be more money savvy to get every single dollar last to the last mile. And do your research. Alan has done his research and found the best formula for him.
Not and financial advice.
He's always correct, and he's always keeping his ear to the ground on knowing what's the latest and greatest for his situation. And if this interests you, dear listener, the links are going to be in the notes,
definitely
in the description.
Definitely,
so, that they'll be out for you. But yeah, I personally like the Weiss one, and the Charles Schwab one. The Chase, again, the insurance, there's a lot of hidden benefits though. I never thought about that. And again, each place could have a benefit. Each country could have a card or a company that benefits you, dear listener, okay? And do your research. You want to go out there, explore the world, and enjoy it. But do it smartly, doing your homework, like Alan said. It takes dedication. Alan didn't come up with this formula one day or overnight. He did this for years. We've been talking for this for since 2016, 2018, like almost 8 years. How about that? 8 years we've been talking about this. And this formula, he didn't get it on the first night, dear listener. So if you want to take this as a standard, do your research, and it will pay. It will literally pay you back.
Yes, sir.
What do you think, Alan? Okay, and now with that one, let's go with the military-industrial complex. You ready for this
If
one,
you could
Alan?
read it, that would be very dope of you.
The U.S. Army's new headset is Augmented, and this one is brought to you by two YouTube channels called Task and Purpose, and the other one is called Sandbox. These two YouTubers at different times cover the same content about the iterations, how the U.S. government is issuing contracts to Microsoft till indefinitely right now to create their latest hardware. There's a long story on this, that the U.S. has been trying to always create the latest and greatest on night vision, infrared sensors, all those things, optics, if you will, since Vietnam, if you will. But the 80s was the big push where they tried and failed. The 90s tried and failed. It's been going for literally decades, the U.S. And now there's a dip from Task and Purpose. The YouTube channel will be in the links in the notes. They were saying that they were debating, the U.S. government has been doing internal investigations. What's best for troops? Getting this new technology or this other night vision version 3, if you will. I'm going to say version 3, but there's a lot of different versions since Vietnam, that it's a lot newer with better materials, lighter and everything for night vision / infrared and all those things. Or get this other one called the IVAS, which gets you night vision, infrared, augmented reality, integration with communications. It could replace it has the ability to replace your radio, consolidate everything from maps, all those things into just your headset, your helmet. There's right now 3 versions: version 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2. 1.2 is what's stirring up the bee's nest right now with the government and the military industrial complex, because version 1.3 is the one that infantry has been testing for the past 2 years, since 2022. They've been testing it in Alaska, they've been testing it in Florida, they've been testing it in Arizona, they've been testing it in Virginia, in the mountains. They've been testing it on amphibious landings with the army, ironically. They've been testing it everywhere. The motto with them was, if it's not raining, we're not training. And they would take this headset with them. And it was a mixed bag with right now for 5,000 troops. Version 1.0 and 1.1 was exclusively for the truckers or the truck drivers in the military, where they can get updated map routes and night vision and communications all in their headset. Obviously, it looked like thank you, Alan. Thank you, and Alan has been sharing me the links. The version 1.0 and 1.1 was exclusively reserved for truckers and mechanized infantry. Not the soldiers, but the drivers. Anyone that was on the road had this night vision, infrared, literally Google Maps on their headset, on their display, and driving at night, heavy weather, all those things, right? And it was a mixed bag. It was mainly positive because they were Microsoft listened to their soldiers and updated it. Now with version 1.2, it was specifically for the ground and pounders. They were people that were kicking in doors, getting in gunfights, and doing the fancy stuff. So with that in mind, that version 1.2 is a lot more sweat resistant, lighter weight, and in an aesthetics way, it looks cooler. It reminds me of RoboCop from the 80s versus RoboCop from the 2000s. There's RoboCop from the 80s looks cooler, and infantry is getting that version on their headsets. Looks like sunglasses, right? Just regular sunglasses. But again, it's still a little bit heavier than their night vision, and it's still heavier than the Apple Vision Pro, but it lasts a lot longer. It has it's more ergonomic, not only for your head but also for all the hardware that you have to wear aside from the headset. And for users, it was so good that the U.S. government has issued to Microsoft $90 billion. Aside from that, they assigned them $60 million to improve and do iterations, but right now, as of 2024, it has issued another $90 billion to Microsoft. Alan, question: what do you think $90 billion can get you in the military?
A couple sandwiches, maybe for the boys.
Yes. A couple sandwiches and some fresh pair of boots, right?
Just about.
Well, as of 2024, $90 billion can get you 2 aircraft carriers and 135 F-35 jets
bananas.
for those aircraft carriers. And these are just for the headsets.
Bananas.
That's HoloLens, if you will. Can you imagine that? You get 2 aircraft carriers and 135 jets, and be able to stock up those 2 aircraft carriers with uranium, with infantry, with the military, all the bop beeps and boops, all the everything. 90 billion, 2 of those. You get all that for just 100,000 helmets. That's how much the government and the company is as of 2024 is believing in this technology. The only thing is that it was balancing itself. Should we do latest and greatest on night vision? Just night vision, lighter, maybe it weighs half a pound and it lasts longer, or should we put the newest augmented reality, which will replace our radios, our maps, our communications, our night vision, infrared, or a lot of different things. They said this is cheaper and it's better, but this is version 1.2, and it costs 2 aircraft carriers with fully stocked aircraft carriers. Top of the line, by the way, the American top of the line. We're gonna go with this. I'm like, come on, government! Like, I'm paying. Each citizen is going to be paying $250,000 for this. By the way, of the United States.
Yes.
Can you? Each citizen born and on board paid $200 for the F-22s that we have right now. Now this one, they're going to be paying $250,000. You, myself, the listener, if you're an American citizen and pay your taxes, anyways. I'm like, and the version that they're getting is, the Google, the Apple Vision Pro, but flatter towards their head. They look like sunglasses. Look, let's see if we can. I think it's copyright, but you can click on the videos. But they're trying to go for your eyeglasses, Alan. Can you imagine that?
Oh yeah.
Like, they're trying to get to the version of us having regular glasses, but having all the technology into the glasses, like the ones you're wearing.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah, I can see them trying to do that.
They went from Apple Vision Pro model that you see now in the streets with MXR.
MKBHD.
Something Marquez. Yeah, MXR, something
MKBH.
like that. Yeah. There you go.
MKBHD.
That one. And yeah, KBHD. Or those guys, Louis Unboxed,
okay.
or all those guys, to bringing it into a flatter looking like 80s sunglasses. And right now, with the helmet integrated into the helmet that slides up and slides down, it looks janky right now. It works. It's water. It works in the rain and the cold and all those things. It does write the communications. The only issue right now is that infantry is getting dizzy and all those things. And it has a compass. It has everything integrated into their headset. They don't have to whip out their compass, their maps, night vision anytime. Like, everything is integrated in their head. And if they don't want to use it, they just slide it up, and their doing, you know, their soldier stuff. But once they put it back down, they can even connect the optics, which is another project that the military has been working on, and it's awesome as well. It's being tested and it's being good right now. They can connect it via wireless connectivity to the heads, to the sighting, and they can do, you know, sneaky stuff that we see in video games into reality. Now that's for fighting. And the other side effect that they didn't expect, it's the training. They can just use this for training and help the soldiers not be in combat, and actually have live recordings and live footage of Army Rangers and all those things and augmented on their goggles, and help them show this is how they moved in real time. You know how they do football plays, they zoom left, right, and they show like the whole fancy things on ESPN or on soccer matches, except they do it for fighting. A lot of people have been doing that augmented reality with Apple to do engineering of dismantling jets, interacting with it. The military is bringing it higher level. Disassemble weapons, disassemble stuff, how to move on specific locations. These augmented reality goggles are not only for combat, they're helping a lot for training, getting them acquainted of navigating maps via Google Maps, having a blue line mark where they have to go. There's a running joke that they were saying that the second lieutenant is the one that will get you lost on land navigation, because they're the one that least know about everything. With this helmet on, there has been instances where people died in land navigation because the second lieutenant didn't get the memo that they switched from location A to location B, and they've died because of exposure, of harsh weather, whatever. Soldiers have passed away. With this, each soldier is going to be able to have they updated the location, let's go to that location. They're going to have communication. They're going to be able to, each soldier is going to be able to communicate with the fighter pilots. They're going to be able to send the data real time, POV view. Again, with this POV view, there's going to be a positive and a negative. POV view of a soldier riding a donkey and horsing around and all those things. Like, what are you doing, Echo Company? What are you doing, squad over there? Why are you playing with the donkey? Versus Alpha Company is kicking down doors, fighting the right fight, doing their thing. Versus Echo are supposed to be running security, but they're also playing with the dog. Why are they playing frisbee? They're working security. Like, it's a positive and a negative. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the government is paying to what is unknown. They're paving the way. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
And you know, a lot of the things that we have, like the microwave, the cordless, the wireless, like hardware, like a wireless drill set, and all those things are thanks to the military. That the internet is thanks to the military. Radio waves is thanks to the military. Not Wi-Fi. I want to say Wi-Fi, but I'm getting you know what I'm trying to say. Not only are the main benefits that the military wants to get are going to be there, but it's going to mature enough that a lot of those products will get out into the public. Dehydrated food, like soup in a cup, they used to be from the military. Dehydrated food, that used to be a military thing. Puffy jackets, the insulate, all those things from the military. What's Cordura from the military? All those things that we have in the general public was a ramification of a military guy or girl and going out to the world and creating a product for it.
Right.
Like, there's unknown benefits right now that this product, and right now they're putting 2 aircraft carriers worth of value into that headset. The government is speaking with our money, with my money too. They're speaking with our money on what they believe in.
Facts.
It's exciting, but I'm a little bit trepidatious as I'm talking about it. Like, what if it fails? I'm gonna be shelling out $250,000 for the rest of my foreseeable life, at least until the posting of this video, of this podcast. It's guaranteed that I'm gonna be paying that for my life, and that's exciting, dear listeners. What do you think, Alan?
Sorry, I'm
Alan?
sorry.
Oh.
Can you rephrase that question again?
Oh no. What do you think? Like we're shelling out. We're gonna be paying for it until the foreseeable future. What do you think that the government is investing or believing going forward with this project? It's new, it's unknown, but it's paving to be a market changer in every sense of the word of that I can't even think of right now.
Like what they want to do with the money that they're...
No, the money that they already pumped into it, 2 aircraft carriers worth. They already put in $90 billion into it right now. They confirmed it as of 2024, this week of the recording.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think they want to do a lot of things before election time. But I mean, I know that some people might want to go to war, and there's some others that don't. But other than that, I don't know much. Well, especially, again, I think the bigger caveat here is who's the commander-in-chief next election. And based on that, they might go that route, right? Instead of maybe it is go to war. Maybe it's not to go to war. Or maybe it's to support our allies. Or maybe it's just to support them by financing them. So I'm not sure. I mean, we can speculate all we want, but I think depending on who is elected, that will dictate how things are going to go moving forward. And that's as far as I can understand it. What about you?
Well, I'm excited, but I guaranteed I like it or not, we're paying for it. Basically.
Okay.
Like it or not, we already have bills to pay for the government, and until for the foreseeable future, for the rest of our citizen living life as an American.
Possibly, yep.
But yeah, it's exciting, but I'm nervous. Like, God dang it! Please let it be right, at least on something, because you already know that they failed already since the 80s doing this. By the way, they've already been failing doing this augmented integration since the 80s. This isn't the first time that they tried with different companies. Failed in the 80s, failed in the 90s, failed in the early 2000s, and now again. They started this project in, I don't know if you've heard, like, HoloLens disappeared from the general market. They did a public showing of the product in 2018. Right then and there, they disappeared. They was in competition with the Apple Vision Pro. They were doing it in packs and all those things. You could have a Halo test viewing of walking through the ships and all those things, but then it disappeared. The government just bought them up and they closed the project for the public.
Did they?
They were taking it into packs because they were trying to go into the video game route, trying to pull people with nostalgia. They were thinking of negotiating with Disney and all those things, but then the government and Microsoft probably say, hey, big government, Uncle Sam, I got something you might want over here. Uncle said, Sam, I'm gonna let you cook. And it's been cooking since 2018. Eight years?
I guess.
It's been cooking for 8 years.
It's awfully tender, sir.
It's been cooking, man. It's been cooking, and
they haven't stopped. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Tim cooking.
Yo.
Let Tim cook. But yeah, it's just both of them. It's two different people that reported on it. But again, this has been out there for decades now. They failed before. Different companies have failed. But Microsoft, I guess, is it too big to fail? I'd say nobody is immune to that personally. But if they've been on this project for 8 years and they've been doing in sets of 5,000 models and gathering live data with truck drivers. It's been working for those military truck drivers, and version 1 and version 1.1. It's been working now for the infantry. Version 1.1 had to be modded, had to be updated, upgraded, had to be done different things. And they already purchased 5,000 for testing and another 5,000 to debug. In total, like 10,000, 15,000 are already quote unquote in the market. But this is a private contract. There's a totally different formula for that money. The money has already been given up front. So technically, anything that they do after that, anything they have to spend, because they had to spend an extra $60 million as of 2024. The government gave them $60 million to fix any bugs that the infantry's been reporting for the past year or two. Okay, these are the infantry reports. And fix it. You have $60 million to work with.
60 bones.
Mm-hmm. Infantry has been having a mixed bag. Net positive, but still a mixed bag, saying, oh, it's a big learning curve. I'm obviously, being the military, they're saying, oh, this is new tech and technology dependence. But don't forget, we're still going to train you with how to use a compass. You're going to have to carry all the compass stuff, like technical soldier stuff. So like a lot of the soldiers are saying, why am I carrying the basics again if you're giving me something else to replace all that? Hey, what if it fails? You're going to be in a combat, and if it fails, you got to know how to use it. Okay, but not everyone has to wear it. Like a lot of those kinds of shenanigans. And infantry has been giving like even how to better improve the report they're issued, so that the company HoloLens or Microsoft can improve upon it. But that's not cheap. And I'm paying for it. You're paying for it. We're paying for it. Americans are paying for it. So you can, a way you can get these new versions of I forgot the name, IVAS, I think they call it. You can either sign a contract with the government, a 4-year contract, become a soldier and you can test it out, or you can shell 3,000 with Apple as a citizen, as a civilian.
Right.
You can have the best of both worlds, but it's something in progress, if you will, that I find it excites me, if you will, dear listeners. And it's actually spending my money. I'm paying for it. It's spending my money, and I want results. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's spending your money.
Oh, of course, out of my taxpayer money.
Yes, sir. So it's politics, the military-industrial complex, Microsoft, like your big three. The big three are there. Can it fail? It has. So stay tuned. That's what I'm trying to say. Stay
Definitely.
tuned. And tuned up to listening the LTS podcast. Okay, dear listeners? Stay tuned. Tuned up. Head on the swivel. And remember to subscribe to all our channels.
Absolutely.
What else? What else, Alan? Would you like to share anything else to the class? I mean, to the listeners?
No, I think that's pretty much it, bro.
Would you like to, give us a sign off?
Sure. Definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining us this evening. This is Alan and my good friend and how can we express this? My partner in crime, Marcos, Mr. Marcos.
Oh, yes, sir.
We'll definitely be signing off. All of our notes will be in the description, and any and all links will be there as well. Definitely interact with us on all our social medias, on X, on Instagram.
Correct.
Yes. And if Marcos and I have any polls that we would like to share with you guys, we'll definitely put them there as well. So definitely interact with us there. Hopefully this recording will be out at sometime in the future, and hopefully it's out to you guys before 158 turns into either 160 or reverts back down to 154.
Take a screenshot every day. Take a screenshot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we would definitely try to do that. We'll hopefully catch you guys in the next one. So be safe out there. Peace.
Stay frosty.